guest tackled this straight on in a very compelling new piece titled The Return of Athlete Outrage. And that author, Jemele Hill. And she joins me now. She's a contributing writer for The Atlantic and host of the podcast, Jemele Hill is Unbothered. I'm so glad to have you on tonight because I am curious what you think this tells you and all of us about this moment that you got athletes, you got celebrities who seem more willing, if not compelled, as you just heard from Wembanyama, speak up.
So, Laura, I go back to 2020 when we saw a lot of Americans, a lot of people worldwide, not just Americans, what the response was to when George Floyd was murdered in Minneapolis, same city. Mm-hmm. And that seemed to be, to borrow what Governor Tim Walz from Minnesota said, an inflection point. And this is another one. This is another one of those forks in the road where people are looking at what's happening in Minneapolis and saying to ourselves, what kind of country are we? And even though athletes are in a privileged position, they get to play a sport they love, obviously a lot of them make a lot of money, they themselves are wondering about the same issues everybody else is. Breonna Stewart, who you pointed out, her wife was born in Spain. She is here as someone on a green card. So this issue hits close to home, especially given the fact that the Supreme Court, the court system, has basically made it legal to profile people. So imagine, I would imagine she's thinking, if my wife is out somewhere and she's speaking Spanish, or she doesn't look the part, then that's gonna make her a target. Victor Wembanyama is from France. Mm-hmm. And while he's, 7'30", if you will, and people know that he's a basketball player, it's still, as someone who's a foreigner or an immigrant in this country, it's something that they deeply feel. And we saw a number of other athletes, Tyrese Halliburton with the Indiana Pacers, Isaiah Thomas, the 12-year veteran who played in Boston. We saw so many different athletes finding their voices. And to be honest, it was really refreshing because after 2020, after the energy of that year, they kind of went a little silent. Mm. And now it feels like this is a flashpoint for them where they said, hey, hold up. I think it's time for us to say something.
Why do you think they went silent? Is it a matter of the power of a kind of purse, endorsements and beyond? Is it because of the political reaction? Is it what do you think was the reason then? And why do you think now is the moment? So pay attention to what Victor Wembanyama said at first. He said, PR tried to talk to me, right? So meaning that somebody in the organization was basically trying to discourage him because they are thinking about brands and endorsement, and they're also thinking about fan bases in that you have a lot of fans. He's in Texas, he plays for San Antonio. I'm sure a lot of fans are MAGA supporters. And so people worry about whether or not they want to rock the boat. And this Trump administration has created an environment of anti-blackness, being anti-DEI, anti-all these things, and we see people just capitulating. And so that capitulation serves as also a warning that if you don't fall in line, this is the cost you have to pay. And a lot of athletes probably looked at it as this may not be worth it for me to weigh in. Do I want this smoke? And a lot of them have decided or did decide no, but I think now they see the country galvanizing. They probably don't feel as alone in their opinions. And so it makes it a little more of a comfortable atmosphere to say something. It's fascinating when you see people like Bruce Springsteen, who is speaking out, making lyrics. I remember when Prince did a song in tribute to Minneapolis as well at one point, talking about the frustrations politically before his passing. The White House, though, dismissed Springsteen in particular, slamming this as a random, their words, song with, quote, irrelevant opinions and inaccurate information. But this is not some no-name artist out there, right? This is Bruce Springsteen who felt compelled to do so. How do you see this resonating with the public when you've got someone talking about, well, being born in the USA and all the nuance of that particular song?
Well, we know that Bruce Springsteen has been on this type of time for a long time. You mentioned Born in the USA. If anybody actually paid attention to the lyrics, that also is one of the great sort of protest anthems that we've heard in our history. And so I think when you see celebrities like him who are icons in his field reacting in this way, and as you mentioned in your setup about Natalie Portman and Olivia Wilde and Mark Ruffalo and many other celebrities who have been engaged in this, I think it tells you something about what the pulse of the public really is that a lot of people are disgusted by the behavior of ICE. They're disgusted by the behavior of this administration overall. And so this is a boiling point. And I am curious as to what happens as a result. Where does this momentum take us? Because 2020, we saw a whole lot of people posting black squares, a whole lot of companies promising to do better and to listen to black people and to do all this, only for that to go away as soon as the atmosphere, as soon as the winds change, they change too. So I hope this feeling is something that is more sustainable.
I'm always fascinated by your work. This one really detailing how fascinating it is when the people we turn to for so-called escapism hold a mirror up instead. Jemele Hill, thank you for the conversation.
Always great to see you, Laura. Thank you.
Up next.